We start with some breaking news from Great Britain. Prince Andrew is to be stripped of his royal titles. King Charles III has begun this process. Andrew, we remind you, embroiled in the ongoing Epstein affair. He's already stepped away from royal duties, but this seems to be now the last stage in his fall from grace from his birthright under British heritage and law. Andrew, we remind you, served in the British military. He had already been stripped of his honorary titles in the services in the wake of revelations about his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. Let's bring in Philip Turl for more on this one. Philip, of course, our international affairs editor. Philip, give us more of a sense of what this means for Prince Andrew, King Charles beginning what seems to be the final process of his public humiliation.
I think final process is probably the right way to describe what has happened in the last few minutes in the United Kingdom. Prince Andrew no longer now being Prince. He's going to be known from now onwards as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. That Prince title has been withdrawn by King Charles. He's also been given a formal notice to surrender the lease on his home, which he has a lease for until 2078. But the problem with this is that recent reports in the press have come to the conclusion that he's not paying any rent on the lease agreement. It's marked one peppercorn a year, and public pressure is growing on former Prince Andrew there to move out of that house, which is something that he's now going to have to do. The word coming from Buckingham Palace at the moment is that former Prince Andrew, they're going to have to move out as soon as possible. And one other important point to underline here is that the title of the Duke of York, of which Andrew has already been stripped last week, is going to be removed from the peerage roll, which means that it will no longer be used as a title for any member of the royal family in the future. The only positive news for part of the family of Andrew and his former wife, Sarah Ferguson, is that their two daughters, Eugenie and Beatrice, will still be able to use the terms of princess to their names. They were born princesses and they will remain so.
So for Andrew, the humiliation going hand in hand, of course, with the fact that this Jeffrey Epstein affair and the related issues in which he is embroiled will not go away. The public interest will not stop on either side of the Atlantic. Clearly, this has been a very damaging affair for the British royal family, regardless of what Prince Andrew might have done, or sorry, Andrew as he's now called, might have done in terms of stepping away from his duties. Clearly, one wonders how the British royal family reacts to this and builds back from this.
That is a very important question and a very hard question to answer, Mark. I think that there have been attempts over the years, even by Andrew himself, in that interview, that disastrous interview for the BBC he did with Emily Maitlis in 2019, which led to him being stripped of certain of his titles by the former Queen Elizabeth II. That wasn't enough to calm all the anger that grew up over his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and also with Virginia Giuffre, whom we can see in the picture here. A posthumous book by Virginia Giuffre was published just last week called Nobody's Girl, which underlines the fact that Andrew had sex with her 3 times on 3 different occasions when she was only 17 years old. And basically underlined that he was lying. And other lies have also come out in recent times about emails that he sent to Jeffrey Epstein after he announced that he'd broken off a friendship with him. Another email surfaced showing that he was still in contact with Jeffrey Epstein 6 weeks after he said he'd broken off the friendship. And if that wasn't enough, there have also been reports of emails exchanged between Jeffrey Epstein and Sarah Ferguson as well. So all of this has increased public pressure for Andrew to be stripped of his titles, for his title of prince to be removed. If you look at the opinion polls in the United Kingdom, only about 5% of the British have a favourable opinion rating of Andrew. That was opinion polls during the summer, probably even fewer people now. And a majority of British people have asked for him to be stripped of his titles. And I think to limit the damage control, because this is having a ricochet effect on the rest of the royal family. We saw King Charles being heckled last week when he was on a walkabout with questions being asked about Prince Andrew and what he'd been doing about it and how much he knew about the relationship that his brother had had with Jeffrey Epstein. It's a damage control effort by the royal family, but is it too little too late? The damage has been done. how long it's going to take for the royal family to recover from this, I think that is the question that everybody is asking tonight.
Philip Toll, our international affairs editor, thank you for that analysis of the latest developments coming out of London. Buckingham Palace says that King Charles III is to strip Prince Andrew of remaining titles and evict him from his royal residence. As Philip pointed out, he's been paying what they call a peppercorn rent on that residence, which is described as the Royal Lodge. It's actually a mansion in terms of its size. It's a very substantial property. And the other development will be that Prince Andrew will no longer be known as Prince Andrew, but as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. We will watch all developments on that story. That's the breaking news coming out of London.